Okay, now start now. We're good?
Okay, camera rolling.
3, 2, 1, go.
Thanks, David, for the interview.
Thank you, Charles. My pleasure to be here.
Yep, thanks. I didn't think we were going to get an interview with you. It was just an opinion at first, but now it's actually happening.
I'm happy to answer your questions.
Yep. Well, my first question is, what inspired you to become an astronaut?
So when I was a child, I was really impressed by images of the Earth seen from space.
Yeah.
And I never thought it was possible to be an astronaut for myself. But I thought it like a proof that being a scientist must be fun.
Yeah.
That knowing more about the world is fun. And I decided that I would maybe be like an astronaut. So I thought, I'm going to stay fit, I'm going to go to university, I'm going to learn about science, I'm going to be an explorer, I'm going to travel, I'm going to learn languages, and I'm going to try to become someone responsible, whom too we can give responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I never thought I could be an astronaut. I just thought that's like a nice model for me.
Yeah.
And that was like my, a vague fantasy, but I never thought it was real. And so I became a scientist and a doctor, and I worked here in Nunavik.
Yeah.
And then I heard that they were recruiting astronauts. And it was like a big moment for me.
When was this?
It was in 2008.
2008. Wow.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, I have to try. I really, really have to try. And so it took about a year,
Wow.
the process to be selected. Wow. 1 year of testing. And initially, I didn't know it was going to work. I just wanted to try it. I thought I have to see this. And initially thousands of people applied, and I had no idea where I was. And then every time they make a new test, they cut. And eventually, there was only a handful of people left. So I thought, wow, maybe this will work.
I would feel so nauseous just thinking.
It was a little bit scary, yeah, because it completely changed my life.
Yeah.
Completely changed my life, of course, and but I'm not looking back. I'm really glad. So and every day I'm inspired by the space program, by the people in the space program, by what it does for mankind, and I feel very, very lucky to have this job, and I love to talk about it.
Yeah. My second question is, what is the process to become an astronaut?
Yeah, so I'd say there's two big things. First, there's a lot of stuff you have to learn, right?
So
you have to learn how to speak foreign languages, especially Russian. English, of course, my first language is French, but I have to learn correct English and Russian. If you can, you should learn Japanese as well. The more languages you know, the better.
So how many languages do you know?
I speak correctly French and English, and I can get by in Russian and Japanese and in Spanish. Yeah.
That's a lot of languages.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. When you travel, it's fun. So that's one thing you have to know. Then, of course, you have to know about spacecrafts.
Spacecrafts.
Everything, how they work.
Yeah.
It's like learning to fly an airplane, but it's a spacecraft. That's a lot of work just to know how it works. Then you have to know a little bit about astronomy, astrophysics, aeronautics, geology. Then you have to learn how to use robotics. Canada is the world.
That's a lot of things to remember.
Yeah, Canada is the world leader in robotics. You have to learn that. How to use a spacesuit. You have to learn how to use a spacesuit. That's a big deal also, because it's like a little miniature spacecraft, the spacesuit. And you have to stay very fit. That's only one part, I would say. The part which is learning skills.
How fit would you have to be?
Reasonably fit, not an Olympic athlete, but actually that's the thing about astronauts. You don't have to be the champion of anything. You have to be pretty good.
You have to be healthy.
Yes, you have to be pretty healthy, pretty good at many, many things. Yeah. Very varied.
Yeah.
And that's, so as I was saying, all your skills, that's only one part of becoming an astronaut. Maybe the most important part is you have to learn to think like an astronaut.
So you have to be mentally healthy.
Mentally healthy and prepared. And the astronaut mentality is one of training and readiness. You have to always think about what could go wrong, what could kill me. And let me think about it ahead of time. So we say we train for the worst and we hope for the best. But we don't just hope for the best. You gotta train for the worst. So we spend a lot of time practicing and thinking about what could go wrong. And when we are with our trainers in simulations, they always want to kill us. Nothing works, and it's always terrible. So we have to think of what would we do if that happened. And then, hopefully, none of that is going to be useful. And it's all going to go well. But learning to think like an astronaut, learning to think about priorities, what is the next most important thing, what's the next thing that could go wrong, and always focus on that. That's, I would say, the biggest challenge of astronaut training, is learning to think like an astronaut.
So after learning all these and being fit and all that, how long do you think it takes to do all that and then get prepared for it?
The basic training is about 3 years.
Wow.
After 3 years, you get your license if you want. Like you're an astronaut, you become eligible for space flight.
And that's just the basics. I can't even imagine how hard the advance is.
It's a different focus. Once you've done the basic training, then there's some time while you're working in the space program, and eventually it's your turn to go to space. And then they give you a mission, and to prepare for that space flight, that's when you do 2 more years of advanced training.
So
and that's
5 years?
5 years altogether. The advanced training is focused on maybe what experiments are you going to do while you're up there. It's more scientific if you want. And also you train specifically with your crew. You know who will be your crewmates. So you do a lot of practice together to learn your team dynamics and your teamwork.
What do you specify in?
Don't really. Astronauts we come from very, very varied backgrounds. Some, like me, are doctors, some are scientists, some are pilots, some are teachers. There's a very, very varied background. But after all this training, we're not the same, but we try to become interchangeable.
Okay.
So the scientists learn how to fly, and the pilots learn about science. So that at the end, everybody can do everything.
So it's like everybody has to have like pretty much the same knowledge, but really, really smart knowledge.
Yeah, everybody has to know the basics of a lot of things. And of course, you still remain with your background. So when it's my turn to go to space, because I was a doctor before, I'll probably be the doctor of the expedition, of the team. Probably. Yeah, that's one example.
Let's say you were like knocked out or something, and another astronaut knew how to do these medical stuff. Do they take over you as your...
Yeah, everybody is trained a little bit like a first responder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my third question is, have you been to space?
No, I've not been to space. I finished astronaut school, the basic training.
Yeah.
Now I'm working in the space program. I work in mission control. It's a little bit like, imagine that an aircraft pilot was working at the airport when he's not flying. Same with astronauts.
Okay.
We spend most of our career working on the ground. Like, I can give you another example. Imagine a mountain climber.
Yeah, and then...
How much time does a mountain climber spend on top of mountains?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right?
But
maybe half an hour every year.
Yeah, it's like you have to get all your stuff ready, and then you finally climb the mountain, and then you go up top.
You climb if the weather is okay, if you're fit, if everything is fine. But most of your time you spend getting ready. And what do you think is a happy mountain climber? Is it someone who's only happy on top of a mountain?
No,
it would be
along the way.
Along the way, it would be a very sad mountain climber if he was only happy on the summit. Same with astronauts. You gotta appreciate everything you do every day along the way, because maybe it will never happen.
Yeah.
So, but fortunately, working in the space program, working in any scientific field, is very interesting. You work with very smart people who are very motivated to help mankind get better.
I have to cross out one of the questions, but I would like to ask you, from everything that you learned, do you know what it's like in space, or have you like imagined it, or like anything like that?
Yeah, I try to imagine it, but I know it's not going to be what I imagine.
Yeah.
When I talk to people who have been, my colleagues, my mentors, the older astronauts, they say a few things. First thing, they say that the view of the Earth is unbelievable.
I would believe that.
Unbelievable, yeah. It kind of gives them another perspective
Yeah.
on where you come from. And they also say that living in weightlessness is amazing. That's one thing that they don't like when they come back, to feel so heavy on the ground.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is, funny, I heard that other astronauts say that when you live in space station with your 6 people in space station, somehow those little team, that becomes the whole world. It's as if imagine you go on a camping trip for several months with a little group.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the world for you. They tend to forget about the rest of the world. So I guess that's the way mentally we adapt to it.
All right.
So, but then the other funny thing about the space, I heard about a space mission is for your family. All the years of training before is very difficult for the families because you're always on travel, you're never there, you really need a good support from your family. When you finally go to space, they're like happy because they know you're gone far away and you will return, but it doesn't seem so long to them apparently. That's very reassuring to me. Yeah.
How long do you think a mission would be, like the one you would go to? Like?
Yeah, I'm training for a 6 months mission.
A 6 month
on
mission,
the space station, flying with the Russians on the Soyuz spacecraft.
Is that a long mission or is it a short one?
That's a standard mission now.
A standard.
Yeah, missions used to be shorter. It used to be 2 weeks, maybe.
Only? Wow.
Yeah, and even when they went to the moon, it was only 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, now 6 months we live in space, and there will be people now living 1 year in space.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We do that because if we want one day to go to Mars, we need to learn how to survive for a long time. Because the missions to Mars will take at least 3 years.
Wow.
It will be probably 9 months to go there, several months over there, and another 9 months to return. So altogether,
3 years.
probably. So we have to learn how to survive for so long in space.
Let's say you go on a mission. Would you like to go again? Which is one of my few questions left over.
So, I don't know. I have to see. I hope I like it. I hope I like it enough that I want to go back. Yeah. But you know, we don't decide that as astronauts. It's like if you ask imagine you ask a sportsman, "Hey, do you want to go to the Olympics?" And he say, "Yes, of course I want to." But he doesn't decide.
What sport?
Any sport. Nobody decides.
Okay.
You don't decide that you go to the Olympics. You can want to, you can train for it, but somebody else decides. Same with me. I want to go to space. I hope I will go to space. I have no power to decide this. The only thing I can do, though, is train. My job is to train. Every morning I wake up and I try to become a little bit better.
You get qualified for it, and then you hope they would pick you.
Exactly.
Okay. This is kind of off topic, but you were in our community before. Is this the longest time you've been in our community?
I've been in Kuujjuaq several times. When I was a doctor, I would come here. Maybe I didn't live here, but I would come through Kuujjuaq to transfer patients.
So you were a doctor?
I was a doctor in Kuujjuaq. Yes, yeah. On the other side of Nunavik. Yeah.
So how long were you in Kuujjuaq for?
2 years.
2 years?
I worked as a doctor there for 2 years.
All right. What kind of things did you do while you were there? Of course, you were a doctor, but like anything like
for life, yes.
Yeah.
I went fishing several times.
Yeah.
In the summer and the winter. I like to do kite ski.
Kite ski?
Yeah, skiing with a big kite.
Yeah.
And I would like to go also. I just did a lot of hiking. Yeah. I love to go camping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love to, in the winter, I love to watch the northern lights.
Yeah.
And the wildlife.
They are beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen, one of the most impressive things I've seen is when the herds of caribous come through. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
For many days, there's caribous everywhere.
Days and days, the caribou would just
crazy. Yeah.
go past.
Another thing I found very beautiful, I don't know why it touched me so much, is near the airport of Kuujjuaq. I don't know why. There's one lake there where every year there's a family of swans.
That would go there?
Yeah, they go there for a few weeks, and they have their kids there. And I thought this was amazing to see swans there.
I haven't seen any swans up here, so I'm amazed that
Yeah.
swans would be all the way up
Yeah,
here.
wild swans. Yeah.
Um,
Come here in the summer, I suppose. Yeah.
you say you travel a lot. Can you name the places you travel to?
Well, so I travel to the other countries where there's a space program. So many countries participate in the space station, and we have to go everywhere to train. So in the U.S., of course, in Houston, that's where I live.
Yeah.
But then we also go to Russia, in Moscow, and also in Kazakhstan. Moscow is where the astronauts training center
Yeah.
is, and Kazakhstan is where the rockets launch from. So we go there. We have to go to Tokyo in Japan.
So there's already a lot of places that you could go to and that you have to go to.
Yeah. Also, what else is there? Germany.
Germany.
Go to Germany. And
with
France.
all these trips, how much time do you think you are away from your family?
I'm maybe, I don't know, 20% of the time, depending on the years. But I try to travel with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to travel with me, and when we can make it happen, it's great.
Yeah.
It gives them a good excuse to see a new place, and it's more fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to see your family.
Yeah.
And you get to travel with them.
Yeah.
Do you have how many kids do you have?
I have 2 little boys.
How big is your family?
So that's it. I have 2 boys.
All right.
No daughters yet. Maybe one day.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you're a growing family, and how old is your boys?
They're 1 and 3.
Oh.
So they're little babies. Yeah.
Yeah. How much time do you think you were away from them with all the training, traveling, and
It's not, in retrospect, because they managed to travel with me so much. Maybe every couple of months I'm gone for 1 week. So it's not too bad.
not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Well, I don't have any questions.
I have questions.
Okay.
So, what interests you in the space program?
In the space program, what interested me was I didn't really think we were gonna have an interview with you. First, we were doing this film workshop where we were gonna interview students with their interest in the school and what their thoughts are in the school. And since you were here, I asked my art teacher Monique, which is running the workshop, if we could get an interview with you, which is amazing, and it's happening right now. So, yeah.
So, what is your main interest in school?
My main interest in school is probably English. I like to read, and my second is probably the gym because I like sports.
Okay, very nice. Well, you should be proud.
Yeah. It's good to have you, and thanks for the interview, David.
Thank you, Nakamik.
Yep.